Little boy, you should be in your father's arms tonight. Little boy, today the darkness stole your light. And oh, little boy, this never should have happened to a boy. A little boy, I'm sure you're glad it's over, but our hearts are broken without you here. And I heard your mama crying, and I heard the wings of 20 angels flying. There ain't nothing that I can say. Little girl, your presents wrapped, they're waiting for you. Little girl, this house so still, so sad without you. Little girl, this never should have happened to a girl. A little girl, you need to know we're sorry, and our hearts are broken without you here. Today a nation's crying, and I heard the wings of 20 angels flying. Are there any words to say? Would you give new life and then steal it back? Is this all part of the plan? Is this your sovereignty? Were they really called home? No, it can't be that simple. We've wrestled with you, now we crawl away crippled. And I heard our Father crying, and I heard the wings of 20 angels flying.
I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs blown. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make the man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. When I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's ITBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. on the hustle. I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential. I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man. Of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic. I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip. I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown. Trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as some desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown. Trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know. Breaking status quo, reaping what I sow. Artistry like Django, get it from my mama hip. So thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu, since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in. I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown. Trying to find my way back home. Count my wounds as some desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown. Trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
guys know, I know you guys were checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly! Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And I'm so glad to see everyone tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry I'm on a little bit later and I didn't come on earlier, but I went down a couple rabbit holes last night and I want to talk about them with you all. So we are going to change the trajectory over, away from the drama a little bit, but I'll still post that because I think it needs to be documented. And we'll just move right along to getting down to the brass tacks of things. Where is Sebastian Katie? Cut the bull crap, right? Just cut it. Nobody believes you except for your small little vacuum over there of delusions of grandeur. Chuchi, thank you so much for always adding the disclaimer, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for hitting the like button always. the green hearts, always appreciated. Hey, Mark Klein, thank you so much for hitting the like button. And hey, Witchy Mama, good to see you. Also, Linda Hall is here. Good to see you, Linda. And Meow, good to see you, Meow. Thank you so much for being here as well. She says, I'm not feeling very mature. What she says, I'm not feeling very mature, but I'll try to behave. I know I'm not feeling very mature either. I'm a bit fired up tonight. It's not a bad thing though. I think we need to shake it up. Um, Mama, good to see you. Thank you for being here. And hey, Mark, thanks. Mark was talking about the he wants the $3 bills at the phone, right? That was hilarious. And Bo, thank you so much for being here. Good to see ya. Thanks for the green hearts. You guys are amazing. And Miss Ann, it's so good to see you always. And also, let's see, I don't want to miss anybody. I always try to get the first people in here because you guys are amazing for coming in, listening to my intro. And favorite auntie is here. Thank you for being here, favorite auntie. Also, Valley Gal is here. And let me see who else we have here. Just so good to be here with you guys. Yeah, I wanted to be here earlier, but boy, it kind of pulled me in a couple different directions. I always try to make sure, you know, I kind of do research, maybe follow up on some of the research, research that research. That's kind of where the rabbit hole comes into play. I want to say a disclaimer tonight. I'm not saying that anybody is being dishonest. Oh, I'm a bad liar. I'm not trying to say that anybody's dishonest, but I feel like someone's being dishonest, or this is fudged, right? And I was saying last night, well, I don't know how, why would they fudge it, and why would you jeopardize the license? Some people have no morals, and I have to really get on board with that and reconcile that in my brain. Gail, thank you so much. Gail says hello to everyone, and she says we are Sebastian and Devlin's armies. Thank you, thank you, Gail, for that. And also for adding Devlin and Miss Ann. I'm praying with you for Devlin as well. I know it's a very tough situation, and I'm always looking at the weather in Michigan because it's just it's cold. It's just so damn cold. And I'm still working on Devlin's case behind the scenes, guys. I know that we're going over Sebastian's stuff lately because there's been a lot of stuff coming out, right? And I say stuff because it's some of it I think is true, some of it I don't know, some of it I'm like, oh yeah, that's hogwash or whatever. Kelly Holcomb, so good to see you. Drive safe. Thank you for listening. And so, hey, Justice for Noog, and always for the listeners, if you guys are like cleaning or, working or whatever you guys are doing, I appreciate you listening. And I'll always try to read stuff off for you guys. So it makes it listener friendly if you're not always watching. So I went back through a couple of little files that I had gathered up. I had talked to Jen earlier, and she said that there was a video out there when Sebastian gets up and uses the bathroom. And I was like, I know I have it somewhere, and I just don't know where I have it, but I bet you it's probably like on X or something. And so I started looking through. Shout out to Nick and Dog the Bounty Hunter. Also, I wanted to say last night there was a video within crime, guilty of a crimes video. And I know she gave credit on her channel, but I wanted to give credit to Lolly on my channel because that piece of the threats, from Mr. Stepfoot over there, that piece was hers that she did. And because somebody had sent that to me too. I love those videos, right, where we take all of the instances and put them together. I mean, that's my favorite thing. I do those a lot, and I do comparisons, and I know it's a lot of work. So I want to shout people out that are doing the work, putting it in, right? Because it's a lot to get those clips together. That's another reason for the delay on the shave down of Queen Bee's, having the feet on the panel. And again, that's up to that person, right? It's not, I'm not trying to throw shade, but in the same way, it is so ridiculous that Katie mocks, baby Jesus. I put a baby Jesus with Sebastian's flyer. She said that on his birthday, you guys. Do you guys remember that? It was just this last birthday that he had. Yeah, that's the things that fire me up because I don't find it funny. I think it's disrespectful as hell. I don't care what people believe in. Everybody's entitled to believe what they want, but you just don't do that. You don't say that about anybody's religion. I mean, it's wholly disrespectful, pun intended, and I just it makes me want to throw up. Good to see you, Laura Arnold. Sorry, you guys. Like I said, it's gonna be rough. I'm watching on the big screen. Can't wait to find out what the rabbit hole is. Yeah, thanks, Laura. I appreciate that. Yeah. So what I wanted to do, since we reviewed Guilty of a Crime, brought up the actual paperwork of the report that SF did on the search that was conducted back in April. And so I was like, well, let me check out, this group. Let me check out I mean, that's anybody. Like I remember when K9 Jules came on the scene, I was, kind of checking her out. What is her background? Just everything. And also I love dogs. And so I like to see what the dogs are doing. They're just so faithful and, um, more honest. They don't have any skin in the game. They don't even know to lie, right? They just use that sniffer and they find what they find or they do what they do, and it's a very unique thing. And I've heard it before. The dogs are only as good as their handlers, and in my opinion, Jules is a really great dog handler. Obviously, she serves our country, and so the utmost respect to Jules and dog handlers everywhere, right? Because it's just a unique relationship. But it's also hard because the dog can't tell us directly. So I find it to be interesting, fascinating, all of that. But I also wanted to see if there was legitimacy. When I don't trust someone, I'm going to look at them harder, right? So as I said, I respect Jules. I do not have a bunch of respect for SF Investigates. Uh, and that's just the way I think and feel, right? Because of his track record, because of what I've seen from him. So that's what caused me to, go down a rabbit hole, and see how valid, that would be. And I was looking over it. The website looks very generic. I mean, just very, very, very generic. I was wondering about the skull and crossbones thing, like what that's about. I don't know about you guys, but and maybe call me too sentimental, or maybe you can call me sensitive. I've been called that my whole life. But I don't think it's overly sensitive. I actually, in fact, think it's very insensitive of a search and rescue team to use that as their logo. But then there's not a whole lot of information on that. And even further, and shout out to my people in Discord who helped me. The Wizards of Discord, the Wizards of Discord helped me today, and I was able to identify how long this website has been around very quickly because of their recommendations on where I should look. So, with that being said, I'll show you some of the things that came of that. So, hey, Ann Brock, good to see you. Hello from Alabama, says Ann. Thank you, way down in Alabama. KP, better be careful, blasphemy. Yeah, yeah. I know. To Jesus, I know. She said that, Gail. She said, oh, and I always give them, and she said it like, I mean, there's people that would really give a baby Jesus, right? I'm not making fun of anybody that would give a baby Jesus. I'm not saying that. The way she said it, though, was like she's making fun of it, right? She's making fun of religion, fun of people who are religious. Her friends like to, turn themselves into the likeness of Satan, which is very off-putting to me, and so and it was right around the time that I put out a likeness of Jesus dunking on the devil, right? So that's my viewpoint, right? And that was their clapback. And that's fine. Like, but yeah, I don't play like that. And then also I don't play like Katie plays, right? Like the little cute thing that she's doing at the table there that she thinks is just so cute. Yeah, looking around, I don't play like that. Yeah, we're just not the same people. Right, they're evil. Yeah, that's what it is. It's pure evil. And there is pure evil in this world, in my opinion. And when you sense that pure evil or you recognize it, I again don't play. Right. So and I actually rebuke that evil. And that's the way I was taught. Um because there's a big difference in being, even religious, and it's a spiritual thing that you just don't mess with evil, right? No matter what. There is good and evil in the world. And that's, I think, something that we can all at least agree on. Laura says, "Do you believe we live in Florida? We're going to have a hard freeze here in Ocala." Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, Laura. See, I am all, I'm I don't pay attention to my own weather, and I'm worried about Michigan weather. That's funny. No, I didn't know it was gonna get cold. I noticed it was colder tonight though, because like the last couple nights, because even in the evening it'll get a little bit more chilly. But yeah, it's 61 here in the Fort Myers area. So, but no, I can't believe that. I drove right when I was going to Tennessee, I drove right through Ocala, and I stopped over at a gas station to get gas. So, on the way down, or excuse me, on the way up. I'm used to being up, but I'm down now. The evil equals black. Future, you got me laughing over here. Evil equals the black triads, right? Dark triad is like, that's the evil that you're. Those are the evil people that you can sense it from. They think that they're like smooth, but they're not. You can sense it. If you're a good person, you'll be able to sense it. And it's not up to me to judge who's good or bad either, by the way. I saw you went through Ocala. Yes, yeah. I just thought that bridge was so cool. And it turned me around a little bit, Laura. And then when I went back the second time, that's when I was actually able to get that bridge. Because at first, when I first passed it, I didn't know it was coming, and I was like, "Oh, dang! I should have had, my camera." But when I got off to get gas, it redirected me. So, um, oh, and little Miss Sharon is here. Hey, little Miss Sharon, good to see you. Yeah, it's weird, right, Mark? It's like 2s, 3s, and 6s is what we see in this case a lot. Like 3s are a big one in this case, but like the 2 minutes, when well, I believe it was 2 minutes that the green hoodie was waiting. Was it that one or the yellow jacket? Um, I've been, of course, looking more at the Texas Roadhouse. When Seth asked for proof of life, that's what they showed him, was Sebastian, um, at the Texas Roadhouse, right? Leaving the Texas Roadhouse. I believe it was leaving there. You see, they didn't want us to know what was going on at the Texas Roadhouse. They didn't want to show us the real version of the Texas Roadhouse. I don't know why. I don't know what that would have hurt, but I do know that the picture that they showed us looks like, the happiest family you've ever seen, the happiest mom and son that you have ever seen, with their stamp of approval. And Katie looks like she's well kept and, like little Susie Homemaker, doesn't she? She's not that, unfortunately. I don't know if that's something that's become of her or if she's always been that way. I don't know, Katie. But I think that it's safe to say that at a certain point, Katie made a major decision, in my opinion. that devious look on her face, that little smirk. It's, that little, I'm cute because I'm doing something wrong. Chris is going to be real proud of me. That kind of thing. And Sebastian looking down. His feet look nervous to me. His hands look nervous to me. His face looks nervous to me. Right? Like he's being read the riot act. It's not what happened. It's it's vastly different. So it's a completely different narrative that the TBI wanted us to believe. Right? Maybe they knew that Chris and Katie were getting the heat put on them very hard by locals before the news ever broke and we all started talking about Sebastian. I heard about Sebastian Rogers because I was in Pascal's chat and I was following Riley Strain's case, his story. And then all of a sudden I saw Sebastian popping up everywhere. Just everywhere on YouTube. It was like Sebastian Rogers is missing. Sebastian Rogers is missing. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I go and I check the story because I was very involved with, not with Riley's case, but I was involved in the coverage and watching everything. And then I learned about Sebastian Rogers and I'm like, something is really weird about this case, right? And I think everybody that watched it was just really taken in, their hearts were in it right away. You see Sebastian, he's just as cute as he can be. He's sweet. His demeanor just, shines through the pictures, I mean, look at his smile, just bright. Just a kid. And then we learn, he has autism and we're thinking, okay, maybe he went to the water and, you're just thinking of all of these things, right? And just trying to figure it out. And then the Proud Feet come out and they speak. And it wasn't a plead on the news, like, could you please, help us find our son? It wasn't like that. It was on a sleazy podcast, with all due respect. It was horrible. It was absolutely jaw-dropping. And then we hear Seth talking to the news and saying things like, could you please call 911, Sebastian? If you get to a phone, can you, it was a plead for help. It was a plead to Sebastian because that's what a parent does. They think that their child is out there and maybe if they could hear him, maybe they, they'll know to call, right? That's just normal. It was so different. So different. She was on Biscuit Patrol. Oh, Justice for Nuke, she was definitely on Biscuit Patrol. Hey, Sabrina. Sabrina says he knew something was coming. This poor child could very well have been eating his last meal here. I mean, I thought about it too, Sabrina. And, after I made that video, and it was one of my first videos, I thought, you know what? I shouldn't jump the gun and think that, it was his last meal, right? I shouldn't think like that. But as time went on, it was even more real and scary, but I still, even to this day, don't want to say definitively that that's what's happened here. Statistics or not, things happen all the time where we're completely shocked, right? Like people beat the odds all the time. We're all built for survival. When the United Cajun Navy found RJ, that little boy in Oklahoma, they said that little boy is built for survival. And that's how I feel about Sebastian Rogers. I think that he was built for survival because he has had to survive many, many things thus far. And he was still, he still made it through. So, you know, I hate when I hear doctors say things like, "Oh, well, your son will never do this. Your daughter will never do this. They're never going to do." They don't know. Nobody knows, right? And that's why I don't make fun of spirituality. I don't make fun of God. I don't make fun of that kind of things. Those things that's not funny to me, right? It's like, what? You know, for one, it's somebody's belief system and you're shitting all over it, right? But and who are you to do that to somebody? And who are you to tell somebody that their son isn't alive? And who are you to tell someone that their daughter's not there anymore? You don't do that, right? Because you don't know. I mean, forget about the fact that it's wrong, but you just don't know that. So I'm not here to dash anybody's hopes or my own. He survived them too, right? Exactly, Sabrina. And, you know, he deserved to be in an environment where he didn't have to feel like he was surviving all the time. He deserved an environment where he was safe. And in my opinion, he had that at Seth's house, at his dad's house. You know, it's my opinion that if Summer Wells had a Seth, then people would be fighting for her too. And that was something that I was reminded of as I was going through At Night's Post, because they added Summer Wells as well to the list of people they were looking for, right? And promoting at the time. I think this was one of the first billboards. There's Summer. She's just so cute, right? She deserves to be found too. She deserves better too. So everybody deserves to be found. There's no one out there, I don't care how old you are, you don't deserve to be out there. You deserve, you know, to be treated properly. So tonight, I want to show you guys the Texas Roadhouse video, one of the Texas Roadhouse videos that I made here. So just give me, oh, hold on one second. Let me play this ad. I hope it doesn't do an ad in the middle of it, because it kind of, I mean, it just kind of takes away from the video, because I was watching it to making sure it was playing right, and it gave me an ad in the middle. I was like, well, that's less effective. Okay, so here we go. Oh, yeah, Mark, definitely. It's odd to me that the Foots don't have people coming out for them and how nice they are. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why no one has cut, like, even like one of Katie's friends. Like, I know that one of her friends came out that was like a friend of hers, like back in the day when they were in California, sure. But no one came out and was like, "Hey, me and Katie, we go shopping, you know, we go to lunch, you know, once a week," or, you know, "Hey, I've been friends with her." No one came out and said anything in her defense, at all, right? So, I mean, it is odd. It is. We had that guy Julio that went over and said Chris was always so nice to me, but everybody has said, you know, horrible things about Chris behind his back, you know, and then they've been shared, you know, publicly. But you know, and there's always going to be people that are, you know, going to have a negative experience with people and a positive experience with people. So I do find it odd, Mark, definitely. Hey, Linda, thank you so much for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. And if you got a membership from Linda, please say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Aw, that was so nice of you. Hey, Shadow. Um, so yeah, and guys, we're gonna do a trivia. Like I said, I'm gonna get it set up. And then also, so definitely get a membership, because it's gonna be memberships only, and it just help out with the travel expenses to go to Tennessee. And then we'll do, whoever wins the trivia, you guys will get something special from the trip, kind of like we did last time. And also, you get to join the Discord, which is a perk of the channel membership. So that's really, really, really cool, Linda. Thank you for gifting a membership. Um, you know, we're gonna be growing this year, I hope, and that's the goal. So that's so awesome. Hey, Poppy Love, good to see you. She says, "I promise I won't fall asleep on my phone." Oh my gosh, you know what? That's so funny because I always used to worry about that too. Like when I was in their mod, and I'd be like, "Uh-oh, I'm gonna delete someone's comment or something." And I've had it happen to me too. And then people were feeling bad, but I was trying to say, "Don't feel bad," and it was like I couldn't comment. It was funny. Um, it's so good to see you though, and that happens. I appreciate my mods so much. Hey, Berry Happy, you guys are just the best, 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 best. And I know that you guys mod for other channels, work hard. You guys just everybody putting effort in. It's just amazing, and it's something that is definitely needed in these cases. Is just everybody working together, um, for a common goal. So I'm going to go ahead and share this up here, and we're going to get into some of this stuff that I came up with today. And we could go to the websites and check it out as well. Let me make sure you guys can see this. And prayers for all the world issues right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh my goodness, it's terrible what is going on. And I'm just praying for peace. All right, so here we go.
Did you forget it was my heart you were playing with? You made the rules to your own game. So your heart of ice, so I brought fire to learn it all just burns the same. Burns the same. Never forget whose heart you are playing with. No more rules to your game, half gate. Build a house of cards and play with fire. Look around, there's no one left to play. Left to play. Do you think of me? Now the flames turn cold and the fight is over. What do you think of me when these memories come as the winds turn colder? Do you think of me?
Okay, guys, so I'm just going to pop in. If you want to watch this whole video, you could definitely go check it out without commentary. So this is courtesy of At Night, Dog the Bounty Hunter. So Katie is secretly taking pictures of her son here, right? So if you pay attention in this little box here, you can see Katie is taking pictures of Sebastian while he's eating in a very sneaky manner. I'm going to take the sound off for a sec here. We're just going to watch it back. So Sebastian's eating, and Katie's doing something on her phone. See where she puts her phone upright and she snaps a picture. And look at Sebastian. Sebastian is so aware, you guys. When she talks about how Sebastian lacks self-awareness, I just want to scream. He doesn't lack self-awareness, and I'm going to show you more on how we can tell just from one video, just from one bit of information gathered from one instance, where we can tell that Sebastian was not only self-aware, but he was very aware of his mother, very aware of her. Did you see how he reacted? Even though she thinks she's being slick, Miss Navy over here. Watch Sebastian. He's eating, and then look, he noticed, right? He noticed. You're not slick, Katie. You're not smarter than Sebastian, Katie. You're the one that lacks self-awareness, Katie. But I'm here to tell you. Look, he's like, what? What are you doing? What are you doing, Mom? Right? She's the one that's not self-aware, and you ain't sneaky enough, Katie. You're not sneaky enough. She's still laughing, though, folks. She's still laughing.
It's February 25th, 2024, at a Texas roadhouse in Tennessee. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, full of promise, sits with his mother, Katie Proudfoot. This is the last time we catch him on camera. At 6:11 p.m., Sebastian heads to the restroom. Notice his walk, hands tucked in his pockets.
Okay, guys, so I want to point this out here. Katie is definitely looking back towards the bathroom. Now, arguably, people can say, hey, she's checking in on her son, right? Like, I would do the same thing as a mom. That's pretty normal to me, right? Your kiddo gets up, they go to use the bathroom, even your teenager, and, you know, you might look in that direction when they're gone, right? To see if they're coming back. Or just to make sure, as Mark points out, busy, busy, busy restaurant, right? I mean, it's so busy. Hey, Seahawk, it's so busy that, and especially on a Sunday, like we were there on a Saturday lunch, but even the Sunday lunch was like, you know, I mean, church group, right? I mean, I've worked at restaurants and things, and Sundays are such a good day. You make bank, and then also church, you know. So that's pretty much any restaurant on a Sunday that's good, right? That where people want to eat. And that Texas Roadhouse does have good food. And so, I mean, I would just go to eat the rolls, but I'm a bread person. So she's sitting here, right? And, you know, the bathrooms are located. So, like, you can see this, just as a point of reference, because I know it's a little bit different, but like you can kind of see, I'm trying to think if there's a way to look back, but this is more, I think, of the bar area, and I should have probably zoomed in. Um, but the bathrooms are right past the bar area. So I think the bar area is kind of like sitting back here. I don't think it's as far back as here, but then there's also just like an emergency exit in the back. And I would have to go, but you can tell when Sebastian gets up, he goes around this way. He comes, you know, he goes that way, then he comes back over this way. So I just kind of wanted to point that part out. And yeah, really busy. And of course, any parent would, you know, keep an eye on their kid when it's that busy. We all know people are weird like that. You never know what can happen when it's busy.
By 6:15 p.m., he's back at the table, hands still in pockets, stepping his way. Hours later, everything would change. That night, Sebastian.
Okay, so he does come back with his hands in his pockets. He leaves with his hands in his pockets. He comes back with his hands in his pockets. Arguably, and without knowing Sebastian personally, you know, maybe with all of those people, right? It's very crowded and loud. There could be some anxiety, which would maybe cause him to put his hands in his pockets, but that might be something that he normally does as well. Just to kind of throw it out there. I've examined some photos that people have sent in, which I so much appreciate, where people are trying to decipher, was there anything in Sebastian's pockets? Also the fact that, you know, he went to the bathroom, was there someone else in there? That sort of thing. So I'm not sure about if there's anything in his pockets for sure, right? Obviously, none of us know that, but it doesn't appear that way. It appears more like if it's something that he typically would do. Also, if it was something that maybe what he does when he's nervous, right? You know, I'm not sure, but he very well could have something in his pocket. We just don't know. I just wanted to point that out since it was brought up as well.
Sebastian vanished from his small Tennessee town. A local story exploded into a national mission. This footage, his hands, his step, is the last we have of him. Over a year later, we're still fighting to find Sebastian. At Night urges the public to engage responsibly and actively in the search for Sebastian through the following actions. For credible, first-hand information, contact Sumner County Sheriff's Office, 615-451-3838, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Tips to TBI at tbi.tn.gov.
And guys, you can also, if you'd like, and I paid close attention to the timestamp, right? And it didn't take him a terribly long time. He was in there for, in my opinion, a normal amount of time that it would take to, you know, use the bathroom, unless somebody had a stomach ache or something like that. But other than that, he was in there, you know, in and out. And you can tell that by this time. Some of these videos that were released are slowed up, right, or sped up. But either way, you can tell by how fast the time is going here, the timestamp.
Tips.fbi.gov. Reach out to At Night and Dog the Bounty Hunter directly at 844-922-3236. Call or text, or via email at mostwanted@manhunts.one. At Night emphasizes that only first-hand, credible information should be reported to law enforcement to prevent overwhelming their lines.
Okay, so here's another instance I wanted to show you. Sebastian's walking back to the table. You know, his hands were in his pockets. If you guys want me to rewind that a little bit, I will. But Katie is also staring back in that direction still. Not that she was worried about what Sebastian was doing or anything like that. She was staring that way, right? And then Sebastian also looks that way. So he also turns his head to see what Katie's looking at, right? He looks curious to see what she is looking at. So again, I'll say, Katie, that your son appears to be very self-aware, and he is very aware of you and what you're doing. So where is he? I mean, that doesn't make you feel guilty at all? Not even a little bit? You gonna sleep fine tonight? Okay.
And depleting their resources, the public is urged to refrain from submitting second-hand theories, social media speculation, or fragmented analysis, as these can hinder investigative efforts. If you've seen that walk, that step, anything at all, call now for Sebastian, for his family, for justice.
Okay, guys, after leaving the Texas Roadhouse, Sebastian Rogers was never seen again. When his father asked for proof of life, he saw a video from the Texas Roadhouse, allegedly. Hey, Wild Wolf, good to see you. Hey, Sandwich, what time did Katie usually wake Sebastian up? She said that she usually would wake him up at 6. That's what she told Holly Thompson in the first interview they did, anyway. Andrea, good to see you. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, right? Texas Roadhouse could have been where they got to physically see Sebastian to avoid a mix-up. That's why he allegedly was on that guy's phone, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. Justice for Nuke, I can't help but think that this picture wasn't sent over from Katie. I just can't help it. I just can't, just because the shirt is so much like it. And again, this came into focus when I slowed a video down and I zoomed in on his phone. And I slowed it down again, even more so. So we'll probably pull that in and watch it tonight. Just because she is secretly taking pictures, and then Chris Proudfoot hurried up and got on Elevated Goof's channel and said, "Oh, she sent that to me." Right? She sent that over to me. So, hey Kiki, good to see you, hon. So, just very, very interesting.
Meanwhile, the search in Sumner County for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers enters another critical day. Thousands of miles have been covered, but there's still no sign of the teenager. News Channel 5's Aaron Cantrell has been following this developing story all week and brings us the latest.
Agencies and search crews across the volunteer state are right here in Hendersonville trying to locate Sebastian Rogers. And they're still asking the community to check their surveillance video to see if they see anything suspicious.
All right, guys, and these are some of the billboards that I found while I was perusing X. And these are some of the ones that At Night had put out. I think it was around from about November to March or April of last year. So do you sleep okay? And that's a question I have too. He told you, tell us, right? Very powerful, in my opinion. Also, she told you, tell us, right? Who do you think that they're talking to there? Because it's my interpretation that they're talking to, hey Holly S, that they are talking to all of their little friends, all their little cronies, everyone who likes to stick up for them, even though they probably were told what really happened, right? They're in on it, in my opinion. And it becomes more and more clear as time goes on, crystal clear. Still quoting villains, right? Because they think it's fun to be bad. We're the dark side. We're the dark ones. Yeah, we'll see how that feels when you're burning in hell. See how cool you are then. Was I in the way? Citizens Bank Park. if you go on X, you will see that there was a billboard campaign, and it was just amazing. The different billboards that were put up that had sayings just like the ones I was showing you. So once I can get that nasty 7-hour live, almost 7-hour live, off of my phone so I can make room for useful information, I'll make sure that I show you guys that in case you didn't get to see it, because I might have missed it too before, because I don't remember them showing the campaign in action, and I must have missed it because, like I said, I'm not big on X. I don't try to, go on there a lot because it's a lot. It's a lot. And I can't post to every single social media either. Like I'm even good to get on Facebook every now and then, and then I'm not on it for a while and I miss stuff, and so it's just a lot of checking multiple social media accounts, and I'm not on X very often. But yeah, it was a little blast from the past that I took today, after, of course, I was looking into Mr. Fishy. Fishy the investigator. Fishy doesn't investigate. We'll get into it. Miss Ann, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep on me, Miss Ann. It's sick. It's so sick, Kiki. It's really to the point where it's beyond anything that I ever could have imagined, right? It just continues on and on and on. Yeah, I wonder how Eddie Vedder feels about this, CP. Yeah, really. Yeah. CP is such a, well, you guys know. So, was I in the way? And this is over at Citizens Bank Park, and you can see it. Everyone can see it. Have you looked for me? The answer, probably not. Missing, have a clue? Right? Clueless. They're always on clueless. Right? And then this is one of the ones where they were pissed, right? They were really upset about the billboards, and last night I was like, what were they so pissed about that that they came out? Like, I was so tired yesterday, and I was like, what was it that they were pissed about? And Chris came up there, and he was doing the like this, that weird shit that he was doing. It sounded like, I don't even know what. Like the ramblings of a fucking lunatic. How's that? Night court. And it was because of the billboards. And I couldn't remember until I was going back, right? So, missing Sebastian Rogers, this sign scares them. Too real, too close, too bad. Too bad. Read it and weep. Read it and weep. Because nobody feels sorry for you, you bullies. How does it feel to have people who are bigger than you and more people than you making you feel as bad as you tried to make Sebastian feel? As bad as you tried to make him look? Because I see a young man, hey, YouTubers here. I see a young man who is incredibly well-mannered, and I would take Sebastian anywhere with me any day that he would go with, right? Like, I would take him to the grocery store, no problem, right? Katie acts like, it's such a chore to be around Sebastian. Like, he had so many behavioral problems. What? Not according to the Texas Roadhouse video. So why don't you show me some proof? Because the proof that I have, proof and evidence is right there. Sebastian, very well-mannered, very well-behaved, very self-aware, very aware of your actions. No wonder. No wonder. I thought he was attentive of you because, that's how boys are. They love their mamas. And I know he loves you, Katie, but the fact that he's watching your every move Maybe it's because he's afraid of you too. Maybe Chris Proudfoot isn't the only bully. Right? Kids vanish daily here. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND, not YouTube. Yeah. Also, where's Summer Wells? If seen, dial 911 because children's lives matter. These two kids, their life matters. Right? Not your good old boys. These children. I saw a post today where people were asking Angela Craddock how she would have felt if it was her kids. Just like any one of us would feel if it was our kids. So why doesn't Katie care? Why is she making fun of efforts to find Sebastian publicly? Like, it's not a fucking hot mic moment, you guys. She is outwardly making fun of efforts. Making fun of a gathering of voices. If you guys missed my live that I did with all of the examples of the beautiful ways that you can honor people who you're seeking justice for, or people who are still missing, or even fair wages, go watch the live. It's a bunch of different examples of it. People that have had their lives taken, but their justice has not been served. People do that when they care, when they want answers, when they want accountability. Why don't you, Katie? It's because you already know. You already know where Sebastian is. That's why you can sit up there and say, well, they need to do something more productive. Tell me exactly what you expect, Katie. Tell me what you expect. Tell me where I can start looking. Because I'll be there for over a week. And I'll be happy to go look. Right? What do you say to that, Katie? Oh, yeah, I forgot. You'll get up with your thugs, wannabe thugs, and you'll sit up there and laugh. Like it's some big fucking joke or a game to you. It's not a game. Nobody thinks it's a joke but you and your stupid friends that will sit up there and laugh with you. The ones you paid, in my opinion, to be your friends, because you have none. Because none of them have come out. None of them have stood up for you, not even Lori. Where's Lori at, Katie? How come she's not setting up vigils for you, Katie? Or does she already know you know where your son is? Right? Pathetic is what you are. Pathetic. Shameful. Right? Shameful. Tell us where to look for Sebastian, Katie, or Chris. You like to talk so much, Chris. You know everything, don't you, Chris? So why don't you tell us? Right? Because you're Mr. Know-It-All. Let me help you out. Let me help you out. All right, so this revision was done to this report on April 18th, 2025. This is the generic logo, the very insensitive, asshole-ish logo, in my opinion. If you're looking for missing people and you have a skull and crossbones, there's something wrong with you. There is something wrong with you. Not anybody else. Again, look in the mirror. So either way, I wouldn't want you on my kid's case with this shit. DNA K9. Okay, so this is what he is saying the company is. Search report for Sebastian Rogers prepared by, right? I just made it larger so everyone can see it. and probably because I can't see it very well because I need glasses. All right, so either way, there it is, large enough for you guys. This is, again, I wanted to make sure you all know this is the same page, prepared by Alex Redacted, DNA Canine LLC in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Now, there's another one located out in Cincinnati, right? So I don't know if he like stole the name or thought it was cool or what, but it's very similar. I don't know if they're affiliated. I haven't had that chance to look. There's a case number 2025 PP HRM-TN1. I don't know what anything else is. I do know that 2025 would obviously most logically be the year of last year, 2025. I don't know what those random letters are. Then you see Tennessee, right? TN is Tennessee. 1. Hey, Jamie Brown. Hey, Tina Girl. No, it's not funny. It's not it's a circus. And they've made it into this. They've done this to this child. It's disgusting. Making it so his father had to retaliate. I mean, what would somebody do? What would somebody do? And again, I think Seth has done a great job of showing self-restraint, because I wouldn't have. Let me show this. This shit that's not normal to anybody. And if it's normal to you, please just exit stage right. Just get out of here. Go. Stage left. I don't care which way you go, just leave. This is not normal. This is Seth in the bottom corner, and he's standing out there asking for answers about his son, who is missing. That's Chris Proudfoot in the cowboy hat looking like a dumb fuck, making fun of Seth's efforts. Making fun of him. You got Katie with her dead eyes. And then instead of them going out there and asking for answers as well, they're sitting at Chris's reptile show. They're sitting over at the reptile show. Right? And then that's Cluminati who facilitated this on her channel. Right? And she's just so excited to see Chris. Right? Because she doesn't have normal people to visit her. Again, no friends. But that's okay. She probably doesn't even have to get paid by him, right? She probably pays them to be her friend, right? Because she's that pathetic, in my opinion, of course. So here we go, back to this. Oh, sorry guys, I might want to share this. One sec. All right. So here's the other part of the report. So this is the bottom, right? This is the top here. Now this is really looks like it could have been doctored, right? The more I was looking at it and deep diving in. So the actual report date is April 16th, right? Whereas the redactions, whereas the updates are here. Give me one second. Revisions are, April 18th. So the actual information was put in originally, it looks like, on April 16th, and that's what we can see reflected here. Right, and they're real proud of their little logo. They want to put it right there in the corner too. Then there's a table of contents, and it goes through the entire search, which I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to put too much weight on it since I've done this deep dive. Welcome to DNA Canine. You can go on there, and if you want to contact them, this is what comes up, and there's also a phone number that you can call. I wouldn't recommend calling it. Again, I think it's a waste of time, right? I just think it's a waste of time. So, here we go. A very generic, in my opinion, website. So then you have DNA Canine, and it says developing natural abilities. And then there's the, you know, the little snout of the dog. Um, from instinct to expertise, and it goes on, right? With a bunch of stuff about optimizing training, and as if they can take a dog and turn it into a real dog. I mean, they ain't doing shit. Those dogs have pure instinct. They run off of their noses and instincts. Their God-given instincts. So there ain't nothing that no man is going to do to make them better. Steve Fisher, you jerk. All right. So DNA stands for developing natural ability. All right. Stupidity leak. Stupidity leak. All right. Again, when you go there and you click on the little three little box, or excuse me, the three little lines up here, you see maintenance, home, contact, and login. Right? So there's a place for people to log in. I don't know why, because I'm about to show you something and why I think that. But you can also contact them. That was the little box I showed you before. And then there's a home button that I just showed you again in the previous thing with them telling us that they're going to optimize dogs and their abilities. And then there's a maintenance, right? So when you click on maintenance, it pops up. Oh, did I forget a screenshot? Maybe I forgot a screenshot. Either way, when you click on the maintenance button, and you guys can do all this, you guys can go on this website, click on it, you know, hopefully don't put your own information in there, please. Because, you know, these people like to dox other people. They like to harass people. They like to sue people. They like to have done all kinds of shit to people. So I wouldn't put your information in there. Just a brief disclaimer and advice from Lady Freedom, which you do not have to take. I just recommend not doing it. So it looks like a book report, Kiki. Oh, good Lord, I just fell over. I'm officially dead. Okay, wow, that's funny. That is so great. It looks like a book report. It's an unofficial book report. But yeah, when you click on that maintenance link, it brings you right to a spot that says that the website's under maintenance. All right. So that website is under maintenance. Now, if you go to this little wizard page, right? I'm going to call it the wizard page. So web.archive, right? Internet Archive Wayback Machine, explore more than 1 trillion websites saved over time, right? So this is pretty cool because you could type the site in, and then these are the different links that you go to: the calendar link, collections, changes, summaries, sitemap, URLs, right? And this was going to tell you information about the particular website that you choose to search. So you can do this with anybody, anything, right? With the domain, I guess. So when I typed his shit in there, right, I just swiped it and put it in here, right? And pasted it in there. So I scrolled all the way down at the changes, right? So I'm on changes right now. And I scroll all the way down and I see that it's been active since about 2006. But, you know, I retry. You can't load any data at all because there is no data, obviously. Because what happens is that as you're scrolling up, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, no data. But then all of a sudden in 24, it becomes active. And you see that in October, not January through September, but October 3rd, there was low activity. See this? This is a little key down here, and that can show us what the chart is giving us, what kind of, you know, what the information is. Now, on December 18th, there was some medium activity here, right? Or changes. And then you have low on the 19th. So we have activity on October 3rd, and then nothing in November, and then something small here, December 18th and the 19th. Okay. And then in 2025, it's active again in April. Oh, sorry. This is for my people that are like me and that they can't see. So that's a closer up version of 2024. And again, there's a key down here, high to low. This would be low with barely any, information, gray. And then the green would be in the middle, which would be not high. There's never a time that it was high activity. There was 3 changes made, right? And those are reflected in the chart. Now, in 2025, we have very low activity around the 11th, right? Low activity, but that's it for the entire year. This is looking at year to date, information every single month, month by month on the chart. So I do not believe that this paperwork or this, excuse me, I do not believe that this website is reflecting anything about the paperwork, yet it's tied to the paperwork because of the website, right? That it brings you to when we're looking on that paperwork to try to decipher where this is all coming from. Right? So again, I would have to say that the credibility of this report isn't looking too hot, right? And let me take this off and put me little. And I want to share this with you guys. And this is the website. Hold on one second. Oh, you know what I'll have to do is just go, hold on one second. All right. If we go to Twitter, just give me a second so I can put my credentials in here. And it might even ask me, oh, here. Oh, sorry. They send me a code. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. I apologize for that. It smells fishy, Tina. That's what I'm talking about. It smells real fishy. It smells real fishy. I mean, and this is what they get angry about, right? That we can't oh, there we go. That we can't get on board with their shit. And it's ridiculous. And then they get upset about it. It's like, yeah, well, you can get mad all you want, but people with a half a brain is going to realize what you're doing. It's ridiculous. So let's go to SF. Doesn't investigate. All right. Hell no, I don't want to follow that crap. All right, so let me bring it up here. And I just wanted to give you guys like a sneak peek in, to what we were going to be discussing tonight. So this is going to be a little bit more in depth of his report, his, as Kiki said, his book report. Oh, sorry. Again, it opened in a Dropbox. My bad. Give me a second here. All right. So again, this is that report that I pulled up. I don't know why this is so big. All right. Again, not prepared by Steve. He says it's some dude named Alex, right? Alex and Roy, redacted. And then we have the dogs, which would be 7, Rambo, and the other dogs that are listed on the website do not seem to be in this report. And I will show you the website as well, so you guys can look and see that. Right? Hey, Rob Beanie, dabbing in the chat. So good to see you. All right, so let me pull this window over. All right, so we're going to have, as we talked about last night, now when the search operation took place, it was going to be on April 12th, 2025, right? This report was made up and then it was revised. So the 16th, the 18th, just to give you guys some idea of when this is all transpiring. The retention pond 1, 2, and 3 are mentioned in the table of contents, along with the construction site, the soil test that was conducted, Mansker Creek, and then we also have search operations on April 13th. So 12th and 13th, they searched the Army Corps of Engineers, Old Hickory Dam Northeast, Old Hickory Dam Northwest, Mansker Creek, Cumberland River, right. And then here's some more table figures that are referring to the photos. All right. So the dates again, the 12th and 13th, Roy and Alex, both of their last names were redacted. This part looks very fucking suspicious to me. Let's just point this out right here, because Roy should have his own last name, unless maybe they're married. Are Roy and Alex married? Are they a couple? Because otherwise it should be Roy Smith and Alex Rodriguez. I don't friggin' know. You know? So interesting that both of their names would be redacted together in this fashion. Looks really weird to me. Roy and Alex, whatever. Roy and Alex made up people. And then we have 7 and Rambo, right? So private investigator, the requesting party, he asked, Steve Fisher asked Roy and Alex, who might or may or may not be married, or these are fake names, to bring the canine 7 and Rambo out. Okay, and this is all alleged in my opinion. So before you get your panties in a twist, SF, just settle down, fishy. Because this is fishy, and I'm not, just because I can't unsee it, I'm going to talk about it. If you don't like it, too bad. SF and his Temu report, exactly, Shadow 100%. Temu fishy report. Hello, WV Holly Girl. So glad to see you. Thank you for being here. So we got an objective, and these are the areas, right? And they're alleging that at these specific coordinates, there were positive hits, and on these specific coordinates, there were not positive hits. Okay, so I do want to show you all when I put in, what's this fucking outfit called? DNA K9 LLC. That's right. All right, and that's the one in Hattiesburg, right? Hattiesburg, Mississippi, because there's one in Cincinnati too. Oops. No, not Hattie. There we go. I'll just make sure I want to get the right website, because there's a couple of different ones. Okay, yeah, here it is. And the first thing that pops up is a big thing that says scheduled maintenance, right? They're busy cooking the books, folks. They're cooking the books. There we go. We got it. They're busy cooking the books. Everybody, hold please. Hold on. Cuz they're busy making this look legitimate, in my opinion. It's the only thing I can surmise. So when you click on home, it brings us to the snout, right? And from instinct to expertise, they go on about their crap. And here are the canines, right? And they're cute as can be. This is Friday, Border Collie. Rambo was one of the dogs that was used. So Rambo is a Catahoula leopard dog trained in live area search and human remains detection. He is a member of the Forensic Applied Science and Technology FAST division of Peace River Canine Search and Rescue Association, helping to resolve cold cases by combing forensic science with canine handling. Rambo's experiences include grave detection, forensic evidence recovery, university projects, and demonstrates promoting education and awareness of dogs and forensics. Okay, I mean, look, I could make a website, I could put dogs on there, and I can give them a backstory too. I just have better things to do with my time. Right? So, guys, yeah, I don't know. He's cute as can be, though. All I know, I love dogs. All right. Look at that one. He's cute. This is 7. Right? 7 is a spirited border collie. Sounds like he's trying to get him a date. Currently training and tracking, live area search, human remains detection, and 7's excuse me. 7's enthusiasm for work and joyful personality make her a great search dog candidate. So we got a candidate for search dogs. I'm sorry, baby. Look how cute she is. She reminds me of my granddogger, Mocha. Aw. I'm sorry, 7. I'm not trying to tear you down, baby, but I'm gonna say this right now. It sounds like 7 is looking. He's trying to find her a date. All right. So, Canine Good Citizens Evaluator, AKC, right? They're accredited by the American Kennel Club, I guess. NSDA, National Search Dog Alliance, and then also we have the AKC Temperament Test Evaluator. I don't know anything about dogs. Maybe you guys can help me out if Jules is here. Jules, we need you, right? But again, why would you be using, and no offense, 7, a dog that's enthusiastic and joyful, that would make a great search candidate when you're doing a report for Sebastian Rogers? Can anybody answer me that? Because it doesn't make any sense. Hey, Barb. It looks like he's up for, Tina, it looks like he's up for adoption, Kiki, thank you so much. Kiki says allegedly they're not listed on the BBB. Can you? Oh, really? They're not listed on the Better Business Bureau, huh? Very interesting. Thanks, Kiki. Right? I have a beagle. I don't know, guys. But it doesn't mean I'm just going to be like, hey, I'm going to put my beagle on a website and we went to search for Sebastian and look at my report, right? So they have Instagram and Facebook, but even though he does everything on Twitter, there's no Twitter link, right? Why do you guys think there's no Twitter link? Can we put a 1 in the chat if we think that it's because Steve Fisher does nothing but troll and talk shit on there? Because that's what I think. And if you don't think that, you could just put a 2 in the chat. Or, hey, you don't have to put anything in the chat. I'm just wondering what you guys think of this, because I smell bullshit. I smell bullshit, YouTuber. Great question. That this is a dog training site, not the dogs used in the search for Sebastian, allegedly. Well, I think that that's what he's trying to say they were, right? I think he's trying to say that these were the dogs because look at the logo. That's his poison logo right there. And again, I saw 5D. I saw your thing 5D. If you're listening or if you see the replay. So interesting. And he just talks all that shit, Witchy. And I'm going, oh, well, you don't want your little dog friends, your accredited AKC snooty snoot snoot, to know that you're a fucking dick. In my opinion. Right? I bet Rock can do better, Mark. Damn. You know? I mean, it pisses me off to no end. This is Night Court. It's going to get colorful. Okay, we're just going to get colorful tonight. Because I'm sorry, but the insanity needs to come to a stop. It needs to stop. Sebastian Rogers turned 17 just back in December. He's a human boy who is missing. And we're dealing with this fuckery. And I can't even, with the amount of fuckery that we're dealing with people that are not his family, but the people that are his family, supposed to be his family, there's fuckery nonstop, one way to the next. Hey, Tully. You know? What are we really doing? Oh my goodness, Rob Beanie. I love the name Rizzo. Reminds me of one of my favorite baseball players for the Cubs. Well, he doesn't play for them anymore. I think he retired. A pet rock. Justice. So we got all of this shit. And, you know, it's just very generic, guys. This is the whole friggin' website. And by the way, we'll be back soon. Thanks for your patience. I'm not patient. My patience is gone. I've had it up to here and you can't see how far I've had it, but it's way over my head. And this is how you guys can contact them. Yeah, I'll dock somebody all day wants to be a shithead. There you go. 601-329-3117. Right? Let them know how you feel. I'd put a fake name in here like, you know, Alex or, you know, I don't know, maybe Steve, maybe Roy. Maybe you can put a first name in there, but put the second one as redacted. But yeah, there you go. You want to contact them. I wouldn't though. Like I said, it's a waste of time. It is a waste of time. And then there's a login. So that means that people can actually log into here, right? For what? Because according to the website, you guys haven't put any data in there. And according to this website, right, that you guys are doing scheduled maintenance. So log in for what? Looks really doctored, looks really fudged. It looks like they're cooking the books. And does it surprise me? No, it doesn't. It just infuriates me. All right. So, and I want you guys to know what kind of people we're dealing with here. So this is what we got. A bunch of bull crap. And they're saying that they had hits for decomp, human decomp. But obviously it has nothing to do with Sebastian. And in my opinion, it's nothing more than SF trying to act like he was actually doing something when he was really doing nothing. Right? And he says on February 20th, 2025, DNA K9 received a request for assistance from licensed private investigator Steve Fisher. And there's his PI license number for Tennessee, guys. So if any of you guys want to look that up, or do whatever you want with it. I don't care. He's the one putting it out there, not me. Now I'm just sharing it. So before they get their panties in a twist over there, I ain't doing shit wrong that you didn't do. The subject of the search was missing persons search in Sumner County, Tennessee. The subject of the search was 16-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, or Sebastian, who was reported missing during the night of February 25th, 2024. At the time of the request, Sebastian had been missing for nearly 1 year and had not been seen or heard from since his disappearance, and was presumed deceased for the purpose of initiating a forensic search through DNA K9. So, what evidence do you have that initiated this search? I thought you said you were going to be fully transparent, so don't get upset with me for asking an obvious question. Because the games, it's disgusting. It does look like his shitty work. It really does, Tina. It really does. And as professional as he's trying to make this out to be, if I would have went to his website and realized, like, hey, that website looks pretty good, like if there was even some kind of effort in it, but you don't even see that there was activity coming from DNA K9 at all. What about the other cases that they work? What about Steve Fisher's cases? I mean, typically when we work with people that we know and trust, right? Or we work with people that we believe we can trust because they've shown us some sort of credentials, or we can tell that those people are in it for the right reasons, right? If we have morals or whatever, any type of values that are involved. So I'm just wondering what initiated this, because the Sumner County Sheriff's Office have said that they don't have any proof that Sebastian isn't alive or that he is. They don't have any proof that Sebastian left his house. That is what Sumner County Sheriff's Office has said. So what in your private eye work or your investigation led you to, on February 20th of 2025, say that Sebastian is not with us anymore? And if you're saying that, did you tell your client, Katie Proudfoot, who paid you $15,000 to be her PI, or more like your public relations cleanup crew? Did you tell that to her? Because if you told that to me, I wouldn't be sitting on a panel laughing. And I wouldn't be sitting on a panel laughing at someone who's paying money, crowdsourced money towards a search of somewhere like a graveyard. Right? Why is that funny to you, Katie? If you were any type of a real parent, you would be beside yourself. You would be absolutely torn to pieces, like his father. But you're not. Kiki says, not really informed much about the other case in Tennessee. Was there a lot of drama in that one too? I know that he was involved with Layla Santinello. And yeah, Layla's had a lot of problems in that case. I mean, well, for one, they think that she, I will say a lot of people think that she, was on drugs, and, there could be a lot to that, her disappearance, that is. I'm not sure what cases he works. Riley Strain was one that he inserted himself into. Another one was Kylie Rodney that I know of that he inserted himself into. The David with a 4 case, he inserted himself into that one, and he is in big trouble. I mean, he got himself in a real pickle, y'all, from that one. A real pickle. Google it, y'all. Katie's little minion. Google it, y'all. Might want to go look at it. as Katie would do in her horrible recreation of a Southern accent. Mine's not much better. DNA Canine agreed to assist in the search for Sebastian and began to conduct comprehensive background search into the case. Okay. This included a review of prior search efforts, their findings, and the area that had already been covered. So I suppose he's referring to, or they are referring to, because I don't know who wrote this report. I don't trust him. I don't trust SF Investigates at all. But are they talking about the 5-mile radius search around Sebastian's house in week 1 or what? Based on the information gathered, search areas were prioritized according to their likelihood of yielding potential evidence of human remains. So what is that? The previous searches for the dogs? You know, who knows? Key locations including the construction site near Sebastian's home on Stafford Court, which featured 3 ponds. Additional priority areas identified for further search efforts include the shoreline of the northeast side of Hickory Dam, opposite Old Hickory Lock, the shoreline and the wooded area on the southwest side of the dam near Boat Launch, Mansker Creek, and natural catch points along the Cumberland River. And I also watched Jen's live earlier, which she did a phenomenal job, as she always does, but she has also mentioned Mansker Creek in different lives, and also that has been an area of interest, just like the construction site and other areas, right? So these areas keep coming up in the search. But the problem is we don't have someone that we can trust in Steve Fisher, in my opinion. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I did, because I typically like to do that out of respect, of course, for myself and someone else, because if I don't know something, I don't want to get it wrong. But this guy doesn't deserve anyone's respect, in my opinion, from the crap he's pulled. You know, Liberty, I wish I could say, you know, this is valid. We can mark these things off, and, you know, we can mark this off now, right? But it's like a bunch of fuckery, right? So this is Alex, right? But I thought Alex was the one that made this report. So Alex is sitting here talking in the third person? Come the fuck on. For real. Like, I can't. Yeah, that's probably why he had to get the hell out of California. That's probably why he doesn't do many California cases, although he was on Baby Emmanuel's case, which I was sad to see that. I was like, oh, God, that poor baby. That's the last thing he needs is another brute, you know? Alex has been actively involved, right? Alex talking in the third person, right? Oh, Alex has been actively involved in the search and rescue SAR since 2018, following an apprenticeship with Don Abney, a court-certified expert in canine training through the Criminal District Court of New Orleans, owner of ABC Cantra Training Kennel in Abita Springs, Louisiana. Alex, still talking in the third person because he's the one that wrote this report. Instead of saying, I am a member of the Forensic Applied Sciences Technology, instead, Alex talks in the third person. Is he The Rock? Is he Dwayne The Rock? Right? What is this shit? What is this shit? So he goes on with all of these credentials, anthropology, right? Alex leads searches. Alex does this. Tyler Durden does this. The craziness, right? In addition to these efforts, Alex participates. I mean, it's just bullshit. It's total bullshit, you guys. And now Roy, Alex is writing about Roy, right? He's been doing it for over 18 years, right? But when we're looking at this report, they have the same last name. They have to. Obviously, it's redacted just like this. Roy and Alex, blah, blah, blah. Guys, this report is bunk, in my opinion. It's DOA. DOA for me. You're looking at this crap, right? So now they're talking about the canine credentials, but it doesn't match up with what we're seeing in this canine DNA. It's not matching. It's not making a damn bit of sense. I'm sorry, but I really don't want to go through 38 pages with you guys. I just want to show you guys the little bits and pieces that makes me know for sure that this is a bunch of bullshit, right? So, let's see. 7 belongs to Roy, right? And Rambo belongs to Alex, according to this report, right? So it talks about the dogs and when they passed their testing. But when we look at, is it 7? Yeah, 7, who's the 3-year-old border collie, says she passed validation testing through DNA Canine with handler Roy in 23, 24, and 25. But when we go to this other website, that's not what it's telling us. When we go to this other website, it is in fact telling us that Alex is a beautiful dog. She's super cute and rambunctious, and she has a wonderful personality, but she does not have the credentials. It's saying it makes her a great candidate. It's not listing her credentials. But these other dogs have credentials listed. Tracking, disaster, gun source residue, right? This one is involved with FAST. Rambo is involved with FAST, right? Forensic evidence recovery, university projects. I mean, this one's got a full ass fucking resume too. This one as well, but not 7. But then we go to this bunk ass report and it's telling us that this dog is certified. I mean, guys, I just can't with this. I can't with this. I won't. So you guys done fucked up. No wonder it's down for maintenance. Let's see what it comes up as next. And feel free, guys, if you want to go over all of this. To me, it's nothing more than a joke. That is what's funny to me, Katie. Not your shenanigans, not your little cronies, but their little fake ass book report, as Kiki pointed out, their Temu report. Yeah, Rambo and 7 were the ones there allegedly. No such thing as a DNA canine liberty. I mean, Lord help us, I mean, and that's the thing. They're saying that they have the means and the resources to bring these dogs to their full potential. What the hell? Like, no, you don't. Mark, SF looked for 4 weeks for his car keys. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and you look for stuff when you don't know where it is, right, Mark? Unlike Katie, who doesn't look at all because she knows damn well. In my opinion. Tully's, thank you. Terrible Twist, thank you so much for becoming a new member or renewing. I think you probably renewed. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe, nevertheless, and thank you very much. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. My Lord. All right, so now that we've gotten that taken care of, right? Thanks, Lori. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Now that we got that kind of ironed out a little bit, and again, guys, you guys could just go right to X. Steve Fisher. Sorry, I can't even say his name with a straight face. Steve Fisher, right? There he is. Um, lying his ass off on X. Um, and he'll give you the full deal, right? This is his little rundown. He put that up on January 12th. And, he says this full report, here's your full report, is in there. Right. And see, there's him, and he's involved with Celeste Rivas Hernandez's case. Just horrible. Either way, that's where you can find it. You can click the link and see his crap. Let me go here. Take this off. All right. So with that, I would say be very careful with what we believe out there about this case. And a lot of you guys know that because of being involved or seeing it, or just any of that stuff. You guys know, but I would just be very leery because of course we think to ourselves, which would be logical, that hey, this person would never jeopardize their license. But Steve Fisher also was paid $15,000. For some people, that's enough money that they would even take the life of somebody out, like on a hit or something like that, right? So if we think about it like that, we can definitely see how somebody with his morals and values and how shoddy and skewed they are would take $15,000 to make a complete mockery out of Sebastian Rogers' case. Right? It's just plain to see. So, I tell you, those people on that side of the fence sure are dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, Liberty, what do they think they're pulling? It's so off, right? And like you can kind of see it when you're going through the report, and you're kind of like, well, again, why would somebody do that? Why would they, nobody wants to believe that somebody would be that horrible, or that they would make up a whole fairy story about a report. But obviously, Steve Fisher got paid to do what he's doing, and that's what he's going to do, in my opinion. But when you kind of look further into it, you realize that none of it makes any sense, and it doesn't have there's not a leg to stand on. And again, that's what I wanted to show you guys. I knew I was forgetting something. I want to show you guys the DNA canine in Cincinnati. And I haven't had a chance to look to see if there's any type of affiliation with this, with Steve Fisher. But I don't think it is. Yeah, this is their logo. So let me go ahead and go back. I just want to make sure I pull the right one up. 2. Sorry, Bing is so weird. I have to get the other one downloaded on here. Yeah, I'll accept your cookies. Voted the best dog training in Cincinnati. So I don't know, because it does appear, according to the website where I looked that up before, the one for Steve Fisher, that is, not this one. I haven't had a chance to look this one up in the website. But this is the one that pulls up. If you search it, it'll pull it up right with Steve Fisher's crap. Right. And I don't know how old this one is, as I said. Hey, Jen in Georgia. But I will say that they look very similar. So I don't know. I wonder if they know that they're being put in the same category with this jackass. Right? Meet the team at DNA Canine Training. Doug, Tracy, and Danny bring over 25 years of professional training experience to Cincinnati and surrounding areas. With lifelong passion for dogs and a deep understanding of canine behavior, they specialize in both basic and advanced training, behavior modification, right? Things like that. Oh, look at that one. Aw, how cute. Right? But this is, and they don't have, notice how they don't have a skull or crossbones. They have a canine paw, right? And then they have Cincinnati skyline. Right? Not a skull and crossbones because they're not trying to scare the shit out of people or deter them from clicking on. I wouldn't want to work with somebody who acted like this. I'd be scared. I'd be like, no, you can keep your evil away from my child's case. Thank you. Not Chris and Katie. They sign right up. Yeah, Tully, I think so too. Like, don't look in these areas. We already looked. And his little setup on Caltopo, oh boy, let me tell you. It's something to be desired. Good to see you, Jen. Something to be desired. 15K to lose all respect, not a good move, right? Who does that? Who does it? Yeah, you just don't have any respect for yourself either when you act this way. I agree. As if dogs could track the DNA. Oh my goodness, Liberty. I know. And I think that theirs stands for, like, I think it's an acronym, but I can't imagine Steve coming up with anything on his own. So he probably went and copied these people. Right? Which, I mean, everybody's inspired by others. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I bet you he went and copied these fine folks over here. And then I want to be clear, I'm in no way saying anything bad about DNA Canine. As a matter of fact, they look legit, like they care, right? They look professional, a lot more professional than old Steve over there. They look like they really love those dogs. Look at that one. Oh my goodness. Aw, they're just so cute. They're a little Roddy. Good reviews, unlike Fisher. Oh, look. Guys, I just love dogs. All right. Well, we needed a little fun, a little cuteness in our life. Go, DNA Canine Cincinnati. So that's that. I just kind of wanted to show you guys that too, because I wanted to show you guys that there was like another one affiliated, excuse me, that doesn't appear to be affiliated with Steve's nonsense. It's the name of the business, but I did find them. Took some time since some of the businesses are dog training and there's other types. Some train for Ellie and military, but this one had one specific word. Yeah, and I think a lot of them too. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, because I was doing some research on, searches, dogs, a lot of stuff today. But I think like some of them are, in order to train for behavior, right? Like they offer other services other than, they're just good at training dogs. So some of them will train the dogs for search and rescue activities, for lack of a better way of saying it. And then also, you could bring their, they make supplemental income, again, for the lack of a better way of saying it. And Tina Girl says, mine too. He's always distracting and making everything about him. He's weird and gives me the creeps. Why lie and tell everyone he's underage? It's weird. Oh, I think I know who you guys are talking about. Hey, Heather. Good to see you, hon. Greetings from Southern Indiana, she says. Thank you for being here. Mississippi is the one, KJ Mack. Yeah. Lori, I think, yeah, if I hear anybody calling me, please don't call me mama. No, I'm just kidding. It's just weird, especially for an older man to be acting that way is strange. And how can you guarantee the results? You don't know if there will be a hit, right? Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, Robbie. Very good point. You're so observant. Um, Attention to detail is important, and that's one detail that's very important. And also, there's one thing to dash other people's hopes, and there's also it's also equally horrible to give someone false hope or guarantee them something that you can't give them, that you cannot deliver on. But they don't care. It's all about them making money, you know. Sorry, guys, I had to reposition myself in my chair there. Yeah. Yeah. I've never heard of a DNA for canines ever, and it might just be something I'm missing. I'm not a dog handler, but you know, I see a brown nose, just my opinion. Evilly, good to see ya. The Cincinnati one looks legit. Yeah, I think so, Chuchi. It looks like and it also looks like it might have been taken. Like I said, I don't know how long they've been in business, but it looks like he might have been copycat, in my opinion. Which I'm sure they don't want to be affiliated. And that website just looks like it's been, like it was an afterthought. Like they started the website and then they didn't do anything with it. Oddly enough, it was in October and December of 24. A tiny bit of activity here and there, three changes to it, and then again in April, the same time period of Sebastian's case. And then I would assume that these people, if they've been doing it for 25 years, they would be very aware of other cases, and they would be actively working other cases. I mean, I forget how many maps Jen said she's had for other cases, but there were many, right? It wasn't just, you know, one case. So again, the authenticity is not there for me. I ignore him altogether. I don't know. Oh yeah. Oh, I know here. Okay, I know you guys are talking about. I think the one using the period canine or DNA.canine is the one on Insta. They have a post with the crossbones and skull. Like, what is that, KJ? Like, I mean, hey, I'm a skull person. I wore Jack Skellington on Christmas and all of that kind of stuff, and I like skulls and stuff. You know, around Dia de los Muertos, I get down with that, but the little sugar skulls and stuff, not for a search and rescue. Like, that's very grim. And I mean, statistically, I get it, but hey, girl mom, too. Good to see ya. So, I mean, what the heck? That report was horrible. Girl mom, too. And I hate to say it. I wish I could get up here and be like, oh, finally something that's refreshing. I'll be honest every single time, but I can't. I can't. It's just like, what are we looking at? And again, I would like to know what's up with Alex, because even though, again, Steve Fisher tries to look legit, if Alex is the one writing the report, he's not going to be writing it the way, in that manner. He really needed to become one with Alex to make sure that the lie wasn't discovered. And it wasn't hard. I mean, this is, something that was just very identifiable right off the bat. Sorry. Oh, no worries. Kiki, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, girl. Yeah. No, I get it. And especially too, sometimes people are like, "Oh, my email bounced back," or something like that. And because mine's got an apostrophe. So yeah, no worries. I appreciate you asking though. Maybe that is the place to look. Well, I know. I mean, hey, at this point, it's so freaking confusing. You almost got to read between the lines, check for leakage, all of these things. But that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to confuse us and create chaos, right? It's not designed to look for Sebastian and find him. That's not the goal for them. It's not the goal, in my opinion. And I'm very adamant about that opinion because of the research, because of what I know to be true. And I am not one to come up here and say things like that. I usually don't speak indefinitely about anything about Sebastian's case. But the one thing that I can say indefinitely is that this young man did not vanish. That's impossible. He was not abducted and levitated out of the house by aliens. That is a sure thing. And another sure thing is that for whatever reason, there are people out there that do not want this young man to be found. And they are, in my opinion, his mother and her chosen stepfoot. And it's infuriating because those of us who really want to try to find him have nowhere to start. We don't even know if he made it back home because law enforcement says that they have no evidence that he ever left the house. We can't tell what's on the trash can video of Sebastian supposedly doing his chore, which is to take the can to the end of the driveway, as his mother told us that he did that night after they came home from the Texas Roadhouse. You can't tell. His father was on Pascal's show when he was shown that footage, and he said, I just can't tell. Right? It's really dark and grainy. Other people have described it as a silhouette. But Katie Proudfoot is adamant that the FBI was able to clean it up enough, and you can tell it's Sebastian because he ran back to the house like Sebastian does in his unique way of running like the Naruto character from anime. It's all bullshit lies, in my opinion. Sebastian doesn't like being dirty. So Sebastian wouldn't have left the house without any shoes on. Another thing that law enforcement has confirmed on day 2 was that his mother said that all of his shoes were accounted for at the house, but Eric Craddock, a deputy back then, the protege of the sheriff, and he is now sheriff who ran unopposed, said, but I'm not going to say that he's barefoot. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot. Yeah, Robini, I don't know. It looks like a skull and crossbones because there's bones in a crossed motion. But hold on, let me show you. Oh, I have it over here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So, oh, no, that's a Cincinnati one. Sorry, hold on. Okay. So here's the logo again for you guys. I thought I had a bigger one. Sorry, hold on. Oh no, it was at the end of the video. There we go. There it is. There's a big one. Okay, so even though it does appear that it's a dog nose, it still doubles as a skull, in my opinion, because you have the bones at the bottom. And here, let me get to that page. Right here are the eyes, right? And then here's the crossbones. I just don't think that people want to see that. I would never work with a company that had that. And it's not even legit in my opinion. Right? It just isn't, but I see what you're saying. You know, I just don't know why they're so fucking weird. You know? So Oh, the fake one has a YouTube channel? Really? Oh, Choochie. Okay, let me look at it. Oh, you're fine, Tina. No, no, no. I just didn't want to. I try not to give those people attention because that's all they're wanting. They're not wanting to help or be helpful. That person's a troll, in my opinion. And please be very careful of that person because one of our own people, he got a hold of her on Facebook with her government name, by the way. So just be very careful of those people. We talked about this last night because, even in other cases, not just Sebastian's, like Jen Soto's case, guilty of a crime was saying that she was being threatened and harassed and things like that. So it happens across the board because we're not dealing with normal people. But yeah, those little trolls. Also, there's one that I had to kick out yesterday. That's friends with that DJ that runs with him. And then there's another girls sock account. I mean, guys, the list goes on and on. I did a whole live about him though. You guys can go back and check that out. And I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I was trying to keep people safe. Our people. Yeah, the ones that are in here every day that don't use fake accounts that, are here for the cases and the stories and awareness, the victims. Who calls the cops on Sweet Silvers? That man has used all his free time to search. Shame on them. I know. I mean, anybody that's come out, girl mom, that's the thing. Like, thanks, Rob Beanie, and thank you for pointing that out. No, I think you're absolutely right. Now I feel like I'm doing the Inkbot test. But no, I mean, you would think that they would just say thank you, right? Like, even if they didn't agree. Even if they're like, "Oh gosh, here comes Silvers again," roll your eyes or something, but don't make fun of them and don't take pictures. Like, what do you need a picture of his license plate and to know the VIN number of his car unless you're gonna do something nefarious at that point, right? Why don't you just say, "Gosh, that's so nice that someone's willing to come out here and look for my son." I mean, it's really doesn't make a damn bit of sense to me, girl mom too. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I would never be hateful towards someone who is trying to help, you know? Liberty, and I try so hard to find some little benefit of doubt that I can give, and I try not to misspeak before I know everything. It's so hard when you just have such a strong feeling and then you're like, "Okay, well, let me just check it out." And then you figure it out, "Oh, well, here we go. This is some grade A bullshit." And they don't. And that's one thing I can say for certain, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, and guys, I don't think the numbers lie. I think actually numbers are very truthful and, I mean, um in business they call numbers, the rundown of productivity or and all of that KPIs, key performance indicators, right? And you check your KPIs in order to make sure that you are being productive. But in statistics, there's a reason why we look at those because it's a greater likelihood, right? We can see that within the statistics. But again, I just can't bring myself to be like, well, I already know. I just can't. We don't have the evidence. If I had evidence to back it up, I would be more, banging the drum. Oh yeah, the 3 a.m. lights. Oh yeah, whatever it was. Oh yeah, stop 30. There was a handoff. Oh, they went here. We just really don't even know. We have to speculate and follow the clues that we do know in order to find some sort of conclusion or solution. I think solution's a better word to use. And they've done everything that, they've done everything. They've made up a stupid story, right? From the very, very beginning. There's been major time lapses. So Sebastian gets home with Katie allegedly from the Texas Roadhouse They come in to the house. We don't know what they did, right? But then eventually, or shortly after, he takes the trash to the end of the driveway. That's his chore. Monday is trash day, right? And that's consistent. We know that every Monday the trash gets picked up around 5:30. Bobby the neighbor said that previously the trash was picked up at a different time, but it would interfere with the buses. Sebastian's neighborhood is a small neighborhood. It's a small little subdivision, and there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver, right? There's cul-de-sacs so you can turn around easily and all that stuff, but when there's a bus coming through and then you got cars in the morning and people leaving for work and stuff, it can be very busy. Even a little bit of activity, it gets busy in that little area, right? And then you have Long Hollow, which is kind of one of the main roads over there, because the school is right on that road. So you have the neighborhood, you have the new construction, the new phase, and then you have the graveyard, and then you have the school. And it kind of goes along Long Hollow Pike just like that, right? But they started taking the trash, or the trash truck started coming earlier because it was so busy in the neighborhood that it was interfering with buses and people. So they started coming earlier. And so we know that the trash was picked up somewhere around 5 to 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. And I know that there is an exact on that because there's video surveillance. Yeah, imagine that. No surveillance of Sebastian Rogers, but we have surveillance of the trash truck. We have surveillance of cats. We have surveillance of all kinds of shit, but not Sebastian. We know the Uber driver picked the guy up for the airport or what have you. Barb, I'm telling you, that's one thing I can say with absolute certainty, that he didn't just go poof. Not the relatives. Nobody's searching, Justice for Noog. No one's searching. No one's even come out and said, we need to find Sebastian. I mean, Yada came out, but then she was flip-flopping around. She was another one. Look at me. I want attention. I want to meet Dog the Bounty Hunter. Whatever, Um, I'm telling you, Craddock doesn't like the feet, in my opinion. I bet you, girl mom, I believe it. I do. I believe that, because I'm going to tell you right now, if I was him, I would despise them. Like, it would be a very strong dislike, because like they can't do anything because of them. Like they're a stain on the community, in my opinion. Right? It's like they're the skid mark of fucking Sumner County. And nobody that has any type of morals, values, or just decency would be okay with them. Mark says, yeah, girl mom, I agree. Girl mom says, when CP said he was clear, Craddock came out and emphasized no one has been cleared. He sure did. Yeah, he did. And he wanted to also, say that there wasn't evidence of foul play, which he might not have had any evidence yet. Or he might have said that in order to even the playing field, right? Like to say they haven't been cleared, but we're not really looking at them, right? Because like if you're looking at someone, you don't want to be like, I'm looking at you, right? Unless you're like, trying to call them out, or you have, a reason to be doing that, or some really hardcore evidence or whatever. But the smart strategy would be to say, hey, we haven't cleared anybody. And then, but don't worry, we're not looking at you, kind of a thing. So that would be a smart strategy. And I can see that being a possibility as well, But yeah, he sure did. You're absolutely right. And I think that it's important to remember what all has been said by law enforcement, because there's not a whole lot that they have said. And that's understandable, and it's really common practice and a smart strategy, in my opinion. Hello, MST. MST says the only way he could have left the house was if he was in the trunk or in the vehicle, and KP passed him off to someone when she left the house to go look for him. I can see that too. I can see that too. I do believe that something had gone on at 3 a.m., you know, with that silver sedan. I do. But say that's an illusion, or maybe we're wrong, or however, I think that the other two strong possibilities, if that one's off the table, would be exactly what you just said, as well as maybe a handoff before they got home from the Texas, you know, on the way. Let me just say this, on the way home from the Texas Roadhouse. Katie was absolutely scolding Sebastian, and whatever they were talking about, Sebastian wasn't happy. He was very worried, in my opinion, based on these photos, still photos that were taken from the Texas Roadhouse video. I thought that I uploaded those independently of a live, but I'm going to have to go back and look now, because it seems to me, hello, Krista. It seems to me that possibly there was something that I put into a live instead of putting it on a video, right? Like I just uploaded them into StreamYard and played them from here, because I can't find it in just a video format, and I know I have it. They're just copying and pasting stuff, Bo. Oh my goodness. They are all pervy. They all know the real deal, right, Robbie? And also have a lot of RSOs. And that's always a huge red flag for me, you know. And again, if someone in the family is an RSO, it's not that person's fault. They're not the ones that are horrible. That person is. That's their actions, not reflective on anybody else, in my opinion. But in the same way, if you're allowing for that and enabling that, that does make you just as pervy now, doesn't it? Girl Mom says, KG Mac, if you watch the mom and stepdad's interviews and look at the date and then watch Craddock and his dates, he refutes everything KP and CP say. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. KJ Mac. I think that from the very beginning, everyone was side-eyeing Chris and Katie, and I think that there was so much pressure that that's why they chose to come to the hate channels, in order to take that pressure off of themselves and to gain people who were going, or supporters, right? People who were going to support their bad behavior, because those people are just as bad as they are. You know, they applaud it. They welcome it. That's how they handle themselves, you know. I think so too. Wealthy people and people who have clear homes, right, where they're not like full of junk and, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's unconscious bias, like whether, you know, whether we mean to or not. In other words, we are biased. So I think about the police, and I think about how they go into some situations where these children are living in squalor conditions. You know, I mean, just horrible, like, you know, animal feces and all kinds of, you know, just dirt, what, roaches, bugs, you know, you name it, they got it. And they're walking in there, and the minute they walk in there, they just want to like puke because it's so disgusting, right? And they can't even imagine that other human beings live in that environment. But then you have a household that you're called to, and it's in a nice little suburban area, right? The mother and father are military, right? And this is just a perception, right? And then the mother and the stepfather are military, and then you have the father who works at the Davidson County jail, right? Prison, where he watches inmates for a living. And so that would create a lot of bias, unconscious unconscious bias because you're not even meaning to be biased. You're just like, okay, these people seem like they check out, right? And that would be anybody. So yeah, it's both, right? IML. I know. Yeah, it's both. It's a nose, a dog bone, or excuse me, a dog nose that looks like a skull, and then the crossbones on the bottom. Kiki says also, lady, on the stream I went over today, where do you Seth, he mentioned Sebastian had a long sleeve shirt on. It wasn't until Chloe says black long sleeve shirt, then he says black long sleeves. Well, Chris told Smiley that Sebastian was wearing well, yeah, it was Smiley. It was Dutch girl or whatever she calls herself these days. They were going around telling everybody that the police had it wrong. But I will go check out your live, Kiki, because I mean, my goodness. Yeah, this makes sense, Girl Mom, too. And they also contradicted the Footlings PI on the video they put out. Yeah, nobody was kind of working towards a common goal. And that was another thing that I found to be interesting about the case in Oklahoma and the way that the United Cajun Navy was treated and the way the public was treated. And when everybody worked together, that little boy was found. It's amazing how that works. Tina says, I believe that when I seen him do something, anything for Sebastian, I will believe that when I see them do anything. Right, exactly. Anyone can smile in your face and tell you everything you want to hear. Does it make them a good person? Actions speak louder than words. I get it too. I get it, Tina. Yeah, I'm just as skeptical as you are. I'm right there with you, Yeah. I know, right, Jen? Exactly. I'm gonna have to go back and look. It's important to remember what law enforcement has said, and I mean, I get it. It's especially, any victims that have ever had to deal with that. What Craddock said was horrible. But we do have to also move on from that at a certain point and don't forget it, but forgive it a little bit because he's who's working it, but yeah, he needs to get he needs to do something, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that person's from the other camp for sure because they're doing dirt, and I did a whole live on it. I can only warn people so many times before I'm like, okay, well, you'll figure it out. Because I'm not gonna, I mean, I don't come to people and tell people stuff like that. The only reason I do that is because I want to keep them safe, right? And it's because I care about that person that I would do that. Any of the creators on the YouTube streets, if I've reached out to you and I tell you something about a personal experience that I've had and I produce receipts to you, then I would hope that you would take those receipts and make of them what you would. But the reason why I would warn you is because I care about you. So, and you know who you are if I've reached out to you about that. But that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to keep harping on it. And I'm not going to, I'm going to leave you alone after that. And you make up your own mind. But I would never come to somebody without receipts. Kitty Hawk says DNA K9 document. You were looking at his actual accredited legitimate business. I don't think so. Kitty Hawk, we might want to rewind because I showed you guys the other website. So I don't know if you're talking about the Cincinnati one. That one I feel is legit without doing more research because I was more so, looking into the one that SF put up. The heat is on the police department because the foot's most likely. It is, Mark. And, they can't even put out like they put out a Facebook post looking for, I think it was 911 operators, or even maybe like recruiting for the police station in some capacity or another. I forget the exact post. But people were underneath it like, where's Sebastian? You know what I mean? Like it has to be a major distraction for them, in their daily uh duties and things like that. So yeah, I would be majorly PO'd. I mean, it would be like these damn proud feet, if I was the sheriff. I wouldn't, and morally and, for value's sake and things like that. Yeah, and especially when she's trying to say my husband's, his wife is like, my husband's a good man, da 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 da, and then she's being attacked for it. Yeah, I would protect my wife before the feet any day. The Foot Clan, hell no. I'd be like, yeah, I'm sure he is not pleased at all, you know? So, like, go help him search, buy him lunch or coffee. I know. Bring him like some muffins in the morning, like for sure. Girl, mom, I'm telling you, uh, I get a really bad vibe. Yeah. Yeah, the vibe is true because I've done the research on that one. I'd want everybody to help girl mom, and I think that if we all were to work together, oh my goodness, the results that it would yield would be amazing, right? But the division is just so, like, that line in the sand has been drawn and it's just been like redrawn in the same line, so deep that it's almost like a fucking canyon. Sorry guys, I'm trying to swear too much tonight. Hey, aw, Jen, that's so cool. Oh, thank you for being a member for 3 months. Oh, how sweet. Thank you. Green hearts for each month. Aw, thanks, Jen. Well, they got the GPR and didn't SF say he was going to do that? I don't know, Robini. He said that they need. Okay, so it's the best of my recollection that he said that he was going to go ahead, or excuse me, that they needed ground penetrating radar, and that it would have been useful. But I don't remember him ever saying that he was going to actually do it. I think he was talking about the construction area and how ground penetrating radar might help to identify if there's any, validity to evidence being there, or Sebastian, or, anything. But I don't think they took action on it, which is a shame because he's the one that got paid 15 G's to do something. I agree. It's nothing but BS, Liberty. And, I tried, we tried to go over it, and, and hey, I could be wrong. I could be looking at the wrong website, or maybe that wizard website is, incorrect, but it looks like it's accurate in my opinion. Hey, Batgirl, good to see ya. What do you see, right, KJ? I know, exactly. Exactly. Hey, Animal Mother, good to see you. Crystal says, Google search those images and the pics on the Shiesty site. Oh, that's a good idea, Krista. Ooh, that's a very good idea. Please don't tell me those dogs are in like the Arms of the Angels commercial and we just don't know about it yet. Oh my Lord. Aw, thank you for hitting the like, Batgirl. Mark says, I wish the detectives would retire and say, F yes, we think you did it. I know. And I mean, if anything, I'm hoping that maybe they could at least have some accountability by charging them with whatever happened in the CPS reports. There's 5 of them. We have Sebastian's own words. I don't know how well that would hold up. I mean, I just don't. I know that the Proud Feet excuse me, the Foot Clan, they have enough money to hire someone good enough that, I mean, look, their family member got in big trouble, right? Many, many times, hurting women, hurting kids, hurting animals, right? Sexually hurting children, RSO again. And the footage is gone. There was a shootout at the gas station. Footage is gone. No accountability. All documented. I didn't make that up. That's a fact, Jack. There's court documents to back it. I don't have to say allegedly, in my opinion, for nothing on that one. Aw, thank you for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership, Jen. If you got a membership from Jen, please say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Aw, that's awesome. Hey, we're going to have a great trivia night. You guys are amazing. Is that a new K9 handler SF is bringing into the search for Sebastian? Well, this search was done. It was apparently initiated or requested back in February of 2025. And then the report was made up after the searches. There were searches on, I believe it was the 13th and 14th IML. But yeah, this was from that alleged time period, and the report was updated on April 18th. So yeah, unopposed, So they have a massive purge of employees who all retired at once. Oh, I didn't know that, Liberty, really? Over at Sumner County Sheriff's Office? There was a Gerber Life Plan animal mother that all of us are offered when we have our babies. Well, I was at least. A Gerber Life Plan for Sebastian. And so, yes, I think that was still active. I know that it was mentioned in Seth and Katie's divorce. So, and we've discussed that here too. Kitty Hawk says February 25th, 2024, Katie Proudfoot was seen at the BP gas station communicating with a male with a dark hair driving a dark colored SUV. And what time was this, Kitty, and where can I find the proof? And honey, I'm not trying to be argumentative with you. I'm just, you know how I am. I want to know, I want to see it. It's before I believe that. But I mean, the BP gas station has been brought up many, many times. So, and it's something I could have missed it. So, hey, Mally Cat, good to see you. Hey, the guy walking the dog. Yeah, great point, Liberty. Yeah, I mean, Robini, boom. Yeah. Oh, and again, I should probably read. Sorry. Insurance doesn't pay out for missing people. And those insurance policies are until the child is 18, right? Sebastian went missing when he was 15. He just turned 17. So, yeah. I mean, let's do the math. There's a few businesses with the same name, but it's my belief that there are the ones on Insta, DNA.K9. No one contact them, please. Yeah, thank you, KJ. Yeah, don't harass anybody, guys. Just do your own research. Just do your own research and ask questions. I love that you guys are asking questions. I mean, and sometimes if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. Or if I think I know the answer, I'll say allegedly. The man was 5'10" to 6 foot tall, wearing blue jeans and dark gray hoodie. He's 35 to 40. Well, how do we know that, Kitty? That same thing happened with us last year. The trash truck in town with the school bus. Yeah, a little dangerous. Yeah, because those things are big. Like it's one of those the big blue ones, That's funny. Animal. We know for certain Sebastian didn't walk out of the house. No way. I mean, I believe that because there's no proof he did, right? You know? I mean, that's my thing, you know? Good night, Bo. Thanks for being here. You have to collect evidence to get evidence. Oh my. Well said. That's it. And when there's no evidence, that's evidence too, guys. That means somebody cleaned up. It means somebody wiped the evidence clean, in my opinion. Aw, thank you, Kiki. IML says if Sebastian didn't make it home, what were they doing in the back with the flashlights? You know, that's a good question, IML. I agree. I don't know. And it definitely appears that there was flashlights. And, you know, it's not like we're ever going to see the original footage on that. Like we still don't have the original. We have the little leaked pieces, right? That Mob Crew had put together and, you know, along with the sedan. I mean, this is undeniable, right? You can't deny that unless you're just, you know, trying to be oppositional or you don't have eyeballs, right? But I mean, we can all see there is a car rolling down the road of Kellen, you know, rolls up Kellen and then comes back down Kellen, right? We know that the motion sensor lights were tripped off, right? So and there's metadata that's attached to this. I mean, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. And here's another one with the timestamp on it. You know? And there wasn't, you know, a bunch of activity, but there was activity in the neighborhood as there would be in any neighborhood, as there is anywhere. I mean, look, Long Hollow Pike, as I said, you know, it does have several places to turn around, but if you realize that you're going the wrong direction, you know, just as a, you know, as a hypothetical, if you're rolling down the road and you're like, oh shit, you might pull into Victoria Place and use one of the cul-de-sacs to turn around, right? I mean, because there's a bunch of them in there where you can just turn around and then you'd go back out the way you came and you'd go the opposite direction, you know? So, I mean, that could be a possibility, you know? So there's too many RSOs and it's gross. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, they best know. They have to know. And they have to be just beside themselves with fury. I would be. I'd be like, these people are making a fool out of us and the public doesn't trust us anymore because we've had to lie to them because of these assholes. That's what I'd be thinking. Hey, Cheryl, good to see you. Detroit Rock City in the house. Hello. I've been working on a lot of hours. Oh, this estate sale's overwhelming. Oh my goodness, too much stuff. Aw, Detroit. Oh my goodness, you work so hard. I'm so glad you're here. Yay. Just sit back and relax with us for a little while. Nobody jumped the ditch carrying Liberty. That thumbnail that I made of Katie, oh my gosh, she's like, I had to put her on some other lady that was leaping through, you know? I don't think she leapt over it either. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't clear that ditch, you'll be hurting for certain. Because there's rocks all in that son of a bitch. So Neurovi, good to see you. As the more time that goes by, I feel whoever did anything to Sebastian without naming names will get away with it. Oh, I hope not, in my opinion, says Neurovi. I hope not, hon. I hope not. You know, I'm still thinking that the truth will come out. The truth will come to light, you know? And I think the more that they get up there and make fools of themselves, the more obvious it will become. I'm hoping anyway. That's my hope. And without hope, you know, we don't have the motivation that we need to keep going. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, my friend. I keep going into tunnels and losing service. Oh no. Oh no, KJ. Oh my goodness. I hope you have safe travels. I believe he was home after eating because why risk saying he took the garbage out, hoping the neighbor's video would be grainy? Hey, that's a great point, Mark. That is a really great point. Yeah. I'm right there with you, because it's not like that. I don't believe that that ring cam was, jammed up in any manner, just to the best of my knowledge. And so, yeah, that's true. That would be taking a huge risk. And especially because it's a nice neighborhood. A lot of people had cameras. Like the one house had, I think somebody was telling me like 7 to 9 cameras. Hopefully I'm not exaggerating that, but I don't think I am. Um yeah. Maybe they said they had shoes, hiking boots or new shoes waiting. That's possible. I mean, and that's another thing that I get stuck on when you talk about the shoes animal. I'm glad you said that because like if there was a handoff from the Texas Roadhouse, like say Stop 30 is a big area interest in my opinion. Jen took me out there. It's a spot where it's off of that busy road, yeah, of course. But it's right on the way home, the fastest route. Sebastian was wearing shoes when he got in the vehicle at the Texas Roadhouse. So did Katie make him take his shoes off and then push him out of the car, or did she take his shoes home with her? That's a part that I do get stuck on because I'm like, he obviously, or did she have an extra pair of shoes that looked like his? I mean, those ones look brand new to me that he's wearing. Those, I think they're New Balance brand. Um, but a lot of things to consider when we theorize, to see if that theory works out completely, you know? Um, thanks, Lori. So we, if we play it all out, um, which we have to and work every angle, where we come to the roadblock or really a dead end, is where we have to kind of go back to the drawing board. Aw, thank you, Crafting with Sassy Chicks. Good to see you, hon. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You guys do so much by just being here and listening, and I appreciate you guys. Chris said nobody would ever find him. He must be pretty sure. Oh, I just think Chris has delusions of grandeur, MST, and that's what really that's where my roadblock comes in with Chris because it's like he does. He thinks he's going to give all kinds of advice on child rearing, raising. He's going to give legal advice, but he doesn't do well in any of those areas in his life. So what does he think he's going to help us out with? Why was this report hidden from law enforcement? Uh, why now? I think that's a great question, Narrow V. So I was wondering that too, because we have Cricket who had this information leaked to her, and I don't know exactly who leaked it, but then people were like, "Oh, UA leaked it probably." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's very probable, right? It's even beyond possible, it's probable that happened." And so I'm guessing that Steve Fisher wanted to stir the pot. Right? He just grabbed a paddle and started stirring that shit pot. But that's my best guess, because it was leaked out around the time that, well, let's see, October was Pig Fest. I went down there to Tennessee. We went to all of those places. Then all of a sudden people started sending in the footage of the cemetery. And I think that was about November, maybe, right? Because the end of October was when I went. And then November, and then we had December. And then that Cricket girl was on TikTok, showing those, the redacted. Well, she was talking about it, and then people were giving her hell, so then she posted the redacted information that was sent to her, she said. So MST, on the other hand, if he was really certain, he wouldn't need to show up on the internet every now and then just to create chaos with his Chroma crew. Boom. KJ Mac, that's a good point. That is a dang good point. And and that's exactly what they're doing. They didn't talk about Sebastian at all. At all. Just that we need to be more productive and don't go in their neighborhood, don't ask questions, stop looking for Sebastian, shut the F up about it, the whole nine. I just think that I get what you're saying. MSC says, in my opinion, he is in a place that nobody will ever be able to find him. It will be impossible. I don't think that there was enough time to do something like that. Like if I think about Harmony Montgomery, and I think about the trial, Adam Montgomery's trial, and what Kayla, his estranged wife, said about how they broke down little Harmony's body. I don't think that there would be enough time to do something like that unless someone else was involved. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Animal. KJ Max says that gives me pause. If they were involved, what did they do to ensure he wouldn't be found? All speculation, of course. I know. See, that's what I'm wondering, because look, we have to look at that time frame. Good night, Jamie. Thanks for being here. Look at that. Look at the timeline that we have to work with. Sebastian Rogers was last seen at that Texas Roadhouse, right? And for all intents and purposes, he would have been home around 7:00 p.m., right? But based on the time they left the Texas Roadhouse, how long it takes to get back to their house from there, and that sort of thing. So we have from 7:00, right, until 6:00 in the morning, which isn't a whole heck of a lot of time if Katie was responsible for doing something to Sebastian, or at 3 a.m. if somebody was to have taken him out, if any of those people were involved. And I'm not saying that there isn't other people that have guilty knowledge. I'm just saying that we're not working with a really long time frame. They absolutely, in my opinion, strategically reported him missing, so there wouldn't be a whole hell of a lot of room, for error there, right? Where people couldn't say, well, you waited to report or anything like that, because they did seemingly report him missing right away, as it would be like Katie's waking Sebastian up just like she normally does at 6 a.m. kind of a thing. So yeah. Hey, Coffee Crime and Cats, good to see you. And the backyard lights lead right to where the mob crew is looking, near the cemetery where there was a hit in the pond. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, there supposedly was a hit in the pond. Yes, there supposedly was, Crafting with Sassy Chicks. Yeah. And I just wish we had more information on that, Aw, thank you, Animal. That's so sweet of you. Cheers, Lady Freedom. Appreciate what you do for us. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so, so very much. Yeah, I just wish we had more info, like some more real meat and potatoes, not just this parsley. A body can be 1 foot away in thick stuff and a human wouldn't know. Very true, Mark. Very true. you know, people are overlooked all the time, just all the time. And people, and, you know, because I know some people will be like, oh, here we go. But people move people too, right? And they also like to go back to the scene of what they've done, especially if they're proud of themselves, especially if they're egomaniacs, you know, like Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And I'm so sorry, guys. I got behind in the chat. So, um, I'm amazed if this happened to me. I wouldn't say I know this looks bad on us, but we didn't do it. Yeah, we need our boy back. Please help, right? Please. I mean, that is so understandable, Mark, you know? And I mean, I would be the same way. Like, as a mom, I'd feel so guilty. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like my ex-husband's gonna kill me. I lost our kid," right? Like that's what I would be thinking. Like I really legitimately would be. I would feel bad. I would be apologetic. I would give any information to prove, you know, even if I don't give a crap what other people are saying about me, I would want to prove to my ex-husband I did not hurt our baby. I did not hurt our child. No matter how much animosity, no matter how much turmoil was in the relationship, no matter what we had done to each other, it wouldn't matter. I would feel like so responsible even if I didn't have anything to do with it. And I'd be like, here's my iWatch. Here's what's another, oh, the radar detector audio, or wherever the friggin' audio came from. I would be giving that to at least Seth and be like, "Look, I did not do anything." Right? But she doesn't do that. She mocks him, taunts him, lets her disgusting husband, like, look at this. This guy is a piece of crap in my opinion. Like I don't see him being a normal person whatsoever. You know? And then she goes to a reptile convention, expose, whatever, sale with him, and she just walking around with him, holding on to him for dear life, right? Stand by your man, Katie. Stand by your man. I mean, the egos are like out of control, crafting, and you know, that's a major issue. Good morning, Gigi. Good to see you. And those heat-seeking drones EquiSearch had in the plane shows ground disturbance. Oh, I forgot about that, Liberty. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I'd have to go back and check his map, that Caltopo map. And Kiki, if you're still in here, maybe you know if he also added the efforts from, like, because I know law enforcement used Sartopo, but did Steve Fisher get access to Sartopo, and was he running that alongside Caltopo, or what? Because he in that, in my opinion, fake ass report that he made, he was saying that he was considering the initial search efforts and requesting help based on that and his own independent findings. So, we won't, Animal. Thank you. So yeah, because I'm not sure. I've never heard them say we didn't do it. Mark, the closest thing that I remember them saying was when that lady got up on or excuse me, it was Chris, Katie, Queen Bee, Clue, all the usual suspects. And there was a lady that called in because you know how Queen does her open panels. So she hopped on the panel and she's like, "Hey, I just wanted to ask Chris and Katie, you know, why they haven't been, you know, talking about Sebastian, you know, like where is he?" And they were like, "Oh, we want to beat the hell out of her," and they were like threatening the girl and stuff, but she was asking a legitimate question. And then Chris and Katie, or excuse me, Katie was quiet, and then Chris said something to the effect of, "Why don't you just come out and ask where's Sebastian, Katie?" Never denied it. Just oppositional, you know? So I know, yeah, throw the tomatoes, right? Like, make sauce of me, but do not think for 1 second that I did anything. I want my child back just as much as anybody, you know, type of a thing, which I think she said something like that. But I mean, it's just so obvious. I wanted to show you guys too really quick before we hop off of here. I want to show you the video that I did with the Texas Roadhouse footage and that yellow jacket man, yellow jacket dude, yellow coat guy. So just bear with me here. I just need to find it. Because I wanted to show you guys in case you guys weren't with me or you're new to Sebastian's case. Because this is interesting because you could actually see him. Oh, here it is. All right. Just bear with me here. And I'm just going to let this play through. God, that little Gypsy Rose, she is such a little weirdo, guys. My Lord. Boy, did she fool a lot of peeps. Okay, here we go. And this is majorly slowed down, like majorly slowed down. And also, I want to point out that Yellow Jacket guy came out at precisely the same time and had contact with Katie Proudfoot in the foyer of the restaurant. And it would be, excuse me, between the doors, right? They have one door to open, and then there's an area, and then you open the other door, and you're actually in the restaurant near the waiting area. Okay, guys, and this is the pickup window. This is the pickup window, and to the best of my knowledge, this guy didn't take away any food. So okay, now you can see where on his phone it seems like there's movement, And you might have to zoom in to see it. But I zoomed in right here, and you can see it come into focus. Just watch closely here. It comes into focus right here. And then it stops. So that is the Yellow Jacket guy. And that video, I'll link it. Give me a second to link it. Just in case you guys want to go back and do your own research. And again, I took that from the Texas Roadhouse video and I zoomed in. This is another one that I'll show you guys that I put out about 3 months ago. Okay, there we go. And again, this one is going to be just at just a little bit slowed down. And you can tell that by the timestamp. I didn't slow this down though. That night slowed this down. There is a commotion by King's vehicle with the green hoodie person.
Break it down now. Break it down now.
Okay, guys, and again, you can see Sebastian is very aware that something is going on over with his mother, right? And it's the green hoodie person. So I'm just going to play this through. And let me go ahead and mute here. Sorry, I was going to go ahead and play it. But you can see the green hoodie person coming right here. Now, her and Katie have an interaction in between the cars, right? And I know that a lot of you guys have seen this before, but I wanted to show it to you in action. Again, just in case, because I think it's important to remember that there was a lot of weird stuff going on at the Texas Roadhouse that night. And again, this is slowed down, but you can still see that the interaction kind of lingers on. And now you can see the green hoodie person coming out, and then she's pushing whatever back to Katie, right? Like, leave me alone, or, oh, forget about it, something like that. The green hoodie person and Katie had, in my opinion, a negative interaction, but also an interaction that lasted far too long for there to have been nothing that happened, in my opinion. And the same thing goes for the yellow jacket guy. So there's the green hoodie person. So, But I did want to just kind of show you guys that before we hopped off of here. And again, keep being diligent about asking questions and doing your own research, because if we don't do our own research, then we're really doing ourselves a disservice, especially as creators, but also as chatters, because you know, you guys go into a lot of different chats and talk to people. And again, guys, just keep your eyes peeled. If there's any information out there, please get it over to law enforcement, preferably the FBI. You know, that's all I can really say about that. But I really appreciate you guys all being here today. I'm going to try to do a daytime live tomorrow. Hopefully, I won't be bogged down, and I'll be able to do that. But I want to keep the conversation going about this. And again, I love you guys all so very, very much. And I really appreciate all of you guys being here. And let's find Sebastian. Let's not focus on the BS. And if you can, please come to the Gathering of Voices. We need to spread awareness about Sebastian Rogers. We need to fight for answers, because answers are not coming. All right, guys. I will see you guys all tomorrow.